The many weapons of this San Francisco 49ers offense makes it feel like it's impossible to stop. And I'll show exactly why just having that many weapons makes it so difficult for a team like the Cardinals to be able to defend against. And we'll start off with this play, which is going to be one of their weapons. We'll get to, several others throughout the course of this video. This is going to be Deebo Samuel, who, it's a one-on-one matchup running a quick slant route, right? Nothing too fancy, but this is just the thing of when you have several different options, when you have to cover George Kittle and you have to cover Brandon Ayuk and you have to pay attention to Christian McCaffrey. This is how you can get put in situations where you have some favorable matchups. You have Deebo Samuel, who is going up against Antonio Hamilton, who's, played a decent amount in the slot this season. Someone who I think has actually played pretty well, been one of the brighter spots of the Cardinals defense, but still, this is the situation you're at, and watch how when this play begins. You see, again, it's a one-on-one matchup against Deebo Samuel. Gonna be tough. You see Samuel kind of set up as though he's going to get the outside leverage, and Hamilton is kind of ready for it. If Samuel does cut to the outside, Hamilton would be in good position. The issue is he's not cutting to the outside. Samuel instead cuts to the inside, and again, good defense, but it's Deebo Samuel. He's just that good. I mean, you can't really complain about that defense if you're a Cardinals fan. You say, hey, good rep there, Hamilton. Well done. Just you got beat by a good throw by Jimmy G, because, hey, Jimmy G's actually been playing pretty well recently. I feel like that's kind of gone underrated. Of course, Garoppolo is an imperfect player. Everyone knows Garoppolo is an imperfect player, but I'm almost wondering if there could be some kind of scenario where he's almost become underrated at this point. Like, he's Pro Football Focus's 16th highest rated quarterback at this point, and that's with some clunkers this season. So, I mean, you take those out, he's actually playing pretty good. So, keep an eye on that. Of course, going over here, I mean, adding Christian McCaffrey just does add so much to this team. I'm not saying that it's, the only reason that we've seen this, 49ers team look impressive as of late, but it's definitely a big part of it. I mean, the guy had, only 7 carries, but still had 39 yards in this game. A lot of it was on this run. The guy gets explosives, and this is an example of an explosive where it's going to be a run to the outside. You have Trent Williams pulling to the outside, which, listen, anytime you can follow Trent Williams, that's helpful. You also have Kyle Juszczyk pulling to the outside. So 2 star players, really, going to the outside to block for another star player. However, look over there. You have a mismatch here if you are Christian McCaffrey and you are the 49ers. I mean, that is no doubt about it. That is a bit of a mismatch because it's not necessarily the player itself. That's Xavier Collins, who, first-round pick, but it's kind of played fine, but nothing special as a first-rounder. It's mostly seemed. But just the fact that there's a wide receiver blocking him kind of puts you in a potential tough spot. It's Deebo Samuel, so, it's not a terrible matchup, but it's a mismatch. Linebacker on wide receiver. That is a positional mismatch. Look, Samuel does enough, though, moves him out of the way, and then McCaffrey's gone at that point, that there's just nothing else they could have done. And you see how McCaffrey's able to pick up a ton of yards on that play. I mean, it's just... there's so many superstars on that play, right? I mean, there's so many blocking superstars on that play of having Juszczyk and Trent Williams moving around to block an open space that makes it super easy for McCaffrey, who also forced a missed tackle and picked up even more yards. I mean, if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will, because that's just good football. Now let's go on to something like this, where what's going to happen here is it's going to be a man coverage play. Brandon Ayuk's going to run a route where he's, kind of faking as though he's going to the outside, but going over the middle. This is just another example of, hey, this is a tough spot to be in, right? You got guys like Deebo Samuel. You got guys like Brandon Ayuk. You have so many different options. This is, again, Hamilton, who he's going up against, interestingly enough. Watch as Garoppolo takes a snap. He's going to look, and I mean, just great route by Ayuk. I don't know how you cover that. I remember Trayvon Diggs in the playoff game got clowned on a lot for getting burned pretty heavily by Ayuk. Part of it is, though, that people just get burned by Ayuk. That's kind of what Brandon Ayuk does. Jimmy G makes this throw. Ayuk makes the grab. They get the touchdown right there. So, again, just one of the many weapons that this team has. I mean, you think about, oh, my God, how do you cover Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel? Well, even if you do, that doesn't mean it's going to be a great scenario because they have more than just that. Watch. This play is a good one because sometimes they say, part of a quarterback's job, I guess I'll phrase it differently. the way that I always view quarterbacks is there's two aspects of the game. There's the game management side of the game, and there's the playmaker side of the game. Jimmy Garoppolo has always been, I would say, good to very good at the game manager side of the game. It's usually been when plays break down, he has struggled. I think he has struggled less this year at that stuff, especially lately. I think he's done an okay job, and this is an example where, so you see the concept on the screen. Garoppolo's going to look towards his left. Hopefully someone can get in a gap in coverage there. Garoppolo takes a snap. He looks in that direction. Maybe he could fire it to the middle receiver. I wouldn't. I think the right move is to not make this throw here. I think that's risky. I don't want to take that chance. I think Garoppolo is going to do the right thing and not throw in that direction. But then what do you do? Well, Garoppolo is able to step up because he did have room in the pocket to step up. And now he looks downfield and sees that it's George Kittle who could get very open. And this is great stuff from Garoppolo. I mean, to move up, but then still keep your eyes downfield and notice something like this on a third down and short. So, a lot of times you're just trying to get the first down, but Garoppolo says, hey, why just settle for a first down? As you see, he throws, he's able to hit Kittle, who then does George Kittle type stuff, gets into the end zone for a touchdown. So again, there's so many options that you have to cover here. If you're trying to play against the San Francisco 49ers, I just don't know what you do here. I don't know how you cover all these guys. The reality is you probably don't. I mean, you probably just give up some plays and have some tough moments. This really does feel like the offense the 49ers have been trying to build for several years now. It's interesting that, they did this while still not having Trey Lance. Imagine if Trey Lance was was here and Trey Lance was like playing well, like if Trey Lance was living up to his potential, which he might have been, who knows? It's we saw such a small sample size of him early on this season. Who knows how he would have continued to play if they threw in that running threat on top of all this other stuff. I mean, this would feel like deadly right here. And you also think about, man, some of these injuries in the secondary for the 49ers. This is a team that could have legitimately had like a top 5 offense and top 5 defense. I think their defense is a bit too banged up now, but it's still very good. Offense is still very good, and this is a very fun team to watch. To have so many, I don't know if there's any team that has more stars on their roster, at least on their offense, than the 49ers. Now, they don't have a star at quarterback, so that kind of makes, they don't get the attention as like a Patrick Mahomes team might, even if Mahomes realistically only has one other star, I would say. Obviously, Kelsey is great. A team like this has a plethora of stars, and again, sometimes it's not about just having the stars, but what position do they play. But hey, they still have plenty of guys who can, do stuff like that. Also, Chiefs have some guys in the offensive line too, but that's besides the point. That's kind of what I think about the San Francisco 49ers and their offense. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.